Distinguished guests, ambassadors, respected speakers, members of the media, and dear friends. Ajit, please, you can sit here. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum and good evening. With a heavy heart and deep respect, I welcome you all to this memorial gathering in remembrance of Begum Khaleda Zia, the first female Prime Minister of Bangladesh, an uncompromising fighter for democracy and one of the most resilient political leaders our nation has ever known. Today, we remember not only a former Prime Minister, but a woman whose life became inseparable from Bangladesh's struggle for parliamentary democracy. At moments when democratic institutions were weakened and dissent was silenced, Begum Khaleda Zia stood firm, often alone, against authoritarianism. She believed with unshakable conviction that power must come from the people and be accountable to the people. Her courage was not born in politics, it was forged in history. If we recall our history of independence on the night of March 25, 1971, when Pakistan Army unleashed its brutal assault on the people of East Pakistan, Begum Khaleda Zia demonstrated rare bravery. When an attempt was made by East Bengal Regiment commander to collect arms from the quarter guard, she refused to allow the arms to be handed over without permission of her husband, Major Zia Rahman. This fact of resistance taken at grave personal risk reflected her instinctive stand against oppression. Shortly thereafter, Major Zia Rahman would declare Bangladesh's independence, altering the course of history forever. Yet perhaps the most painful chapters of her life came not during war, but during Begum Khaleda Zia endured years of imprisonment driven by political vendetta, a persecution that was widely criticized both within Bangladesh and across the global community. Her incarceration was condemned by the Bangladeshi people and drew serious international concern. Notably, the United States Department of State, in its annual human rights report, described her imprisonment as a political ploy to remove her from the political process.
This is a good thing you're doing, Mushfiq, to bring us all together to recognize a leading figure in the history of Bangladesh. Khaleda Zia played an outsized role.
Furniture, just smarter. JMG Furniture.
In that country. And speakers already have, and they will continue speaking about her legacy. As we all know, many praise what she did, others maybe are criticize it. But I intend to do neither one of those things. I want to speak about my relationship with Khaleda Zia personally, because I did in fact know her well personally. I lived in Bangladesh. I served in Bangladesh as a U.S. diplomat for 6 years. From 1998 to 2001, I was the chief of the political economic section. And from 2011, and some of you will remember, to 2014, I was America's ambassador to the wonderful people of Bangladesh. And during all of those 6 years, Khaleda Zia was the leader of the opposition. Begum Zia was always accessible to me, always accessible. And I would go, I would see her, she would receive me, and you knew she was in horrible pain. She arthritis and other ailments racked her body. But as others have observed, she never complained. Never complained. Why me? Why am I suffering like this? Never. She was gracious, warm, friendly, open, forthcoming.
Assalamu alaikum. Distinguished guests, my thoughts go back to that era. I was posted in New Delhi with responsibilities throughout South Asia from 1966 to 77, and I will never forget that period primarily because of what Mrs. Gandhi did with her state of the emergency, and then what happened in 1971 with the birth of Bangladesh. I still remember the stories that came out of America where the Secretary of State, Henry Kissinger, said that Bangladesh would be an international breadbasket. Henry Kissinger would not like to be told that he was wrong, may he rest in peace, but he was wrong. He was wrong. Bangladesh has become, in many ways, an economic powerhouse. And that is the greatest tribute to the country itself. Bangladesh also is a trailblazer in another area. As you know, this year marks the 250th anniversary of the United States independence. Well, I think you know where I might be going. We still haven't had a woman leader. But Bangladesh, in its infancy, in its 20th year of independence, shows its first woman prime minister, Begum Khaleda Zia.
I followed Dan as U.S. ambassador to Bangladesh, and by the time I arrived, she was literally under siege in her offices. And my very first meeting with her was not the kind of diplomatic meeting you would expect to have, where I pay a courtesy call on a former prime minister and leader of the opposition. We organized a group of about 12 ambassadors, friends of Bangladesh all, to arrive under the cover of night to her offices to be able to meet with her and to find a way to negotiate both with her and then with the Prime Minister, Sheikh Hasina, on ending this siege, if you will. The siege ended, but I have to say, I don't know that it was because of our efforts as ambassadors. I got to meet Khaleda Zia, Begum Zia, numerous times after that, and I can reaffirm that even though she was clearly in greater pain and clearly in distress, she was always gracious and always welcoming.
I had the opportunity to hear about his engagements with her, and I understand that she ushered in great change as prime minister, obviously as the first female prime minister of Bangladesh, but also in the reforms that she enacted in education, in women's empowerment, in opening up the economy, and in fighting for democracy.